Hello again, everyone. I'm Lucas Berry, and you're watching Train Time on the New River Network. Been a couple weeks since we've gotten together, hasn't it? Last time we got together, we talked about what was a staple of fall for years around here, the New River Train. Well, guess what? Fall keeps rolling around, and even though there's not an excursion out there, they still run trains on the New River. And I went out to document some in fall foliage. I tried to do something I haven't done as much in the past, and that is kind of get above the tree line and really get a chance to see the railroad in its natural habitat amongst the beautiful foliage. How do I do that? I go to Hawk's Nest, and that's what we're going to showcase in this episode. We actually do have another shot somewhere else, but you'll get to that in due time. So in this episode, let's see what I got at Hawk's Nest. I've got something that, well, every time I went, there was something unique and different about that train, and I think it's kind of cool. So let's get started. Here's a couple notables at Hawk's Nest. We around here are no strangers to visitors, and I'm sure plenty of them come from the Pacific Northwest, but never in my life did I think I'd see a locomotive designated for regional service in that region on the rails in West Virginia, but that's exactly what happened. The engine is number 1403, and technically it's owned by the Washington State Department of Transportation for use on the Amtrak Cascade service. The deal is, basically, the states put up funding for it and Amtrak runs the train. The Cascades is a regional service between Vancouver, Canada and Eugene, Oregon, with Portland, Oregon and Seattle, Washington being two huge destinations along the line. 1403 is on the Cardinal getting a ride to Philadelphia, where it and the rest of the new train sets for the Cascades will go into testing along the Northeast Corridor before entering service officially. You might also notice an empty coal train parked here. That wasn't because they were waiting on Amtrak. It was them helping out another train. A loaded coal train had stalled at Golly, and essentially these empties were basically swapping power with those loads, giving them two working engines and taking the problematic ones off that train.
CSX detector milepost 411.1 track main 1. CSX detector milepost 411.1 track main 1. No defects. Repeat, no defects. Total axles 3, 2. Detector out.
Track BO5006 on the 336 eastbound on one track, clear to Cotton Hill, no defect out.
One track, good deal.
Alright, well, we're high approach now.
FX detector milepost 411.1 track main 2 no defect. Repeat, no defect. Total axle 1 2. Detector out.
A few weeks earlier, I was out here again trying to take advantage of the great view of the fall colors as I caught train M653. By this time, 653 had returned to its original routing via the former Clinchfield instead of RX-CNO, but for some reason CSX sent this one our way, and good thing they did. The trailing locomotive, CSX 7767, is a General Electric C40-8W built in 1991, and this will probably be the last time it ever runs the New River. For years, the Dash 8s were the backbone of the CSX roster, but now they're usually relegated to local service or destined for the scrap heap like this one is soon. To give you an idea of just how rare seeing one of these things is nowadays, this is only the second time I've ever seen one.
CSX detector milepost 411.1 track main 2. CSX detector milepost 411.1 track main 2 no defects. Repeat, no defects. Total axles 460. Detector out.
We'll leave Hawk's Nest for just a second and head to Thurmond for what I thought would be my last shot of 653 before it left the C&O. It was late August and I was down here waiting for the Western Maryland Heritage Unit on counterpart train M652. At the time, 653 came east out of Russell, Kentucky and ran to Richmond, Virginia before turning south toward Hamlet, North Carolina. Now 653 heads south out of Russell toward Kingsport, Tennessee before finding its way to Hamlet. 652 did the exact same thing, just in the other direction, coming north to Richmond and over, and then coming back up north through Kingsport. While we were waiting on that westbound, the dispatcher sent the eastbound right on through. Back to Hawks Nest now, and I discovered I hadn't used this shop from March 2025. I came down here to get a shot of my favorite Amtrak Heritage Unit number 160, leading westbound Cardinal 51. 160 honors the paint scheme used on Amtrak's Dash 8s built in the early 1990s to fill a gap in motive power before new locomotives were ready. They called them Pepsi cans due to the paint scheme looking like that of a Pepsi can at that time. If you want to learn more about Amtrak's Dash 8s, I caught one leading a train earlier this year. You can find that shot in episode 14 of this program. It's called Welcome Surprises in Thurmond. I set up to catch our train today, meandering through the gorge before crossing the new river on number 1 track. For the sake of time, it's a lot easier if you do this with a passenger train than a 220-car empty coal train. If it looks like the train is starting to slow down a little bit, that's because it is. They're coming up on one of the sharpest curves on the whole railroad, and the timetable says they have to take that curve at 10 miles an hour. For a short passenger train, that's nothing, but for a long freight train, it'll be awfully slow going until that last car gets out of the curve. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this program and would like to watch past episodes, I invite you to check out our Facebook page. You can also check us out on YouTube at New River Network. You can check us out online at watchnrn.com, the New River Network's Roku channel. And you can get us on cable here in Fayette County, Channel Mono Plateau, Channel 17 down in the valley. So, for the New River Network, I'm Lucas Berry. Mountain you get it anytime. It's train time.